The Tanchuma in this week's parsha says that Tzipa Moshe Rabbeinu Baruch Kodesh Asid Beis Hamikdash Lichoreva Bikurim Libato. Moshe Rabbeinu foresaw in Ruach HaKodesh that the Beis Hamikdash would be destroyed, and we wouldn't be able to do the mitzvah of Bikurim, which is the mitzvah that the parsha opens up with. Amad v'tikam Yisrael shiu mispalim shalosh pamim bayom. So he got up and he made a takana. Am Yisrael should daven 3 times a day. Right? That's which means, according to this Lashon Chazal, Ezra and Beis Din, the Anshas only legislated the distinct nusach and the distinct times, but the concept of davening 3 times a day, Moshe Rabbeinu already instituted the concept, and it's all, you daven 3 times a day, every day, because we miss out on a mitzvah that's done only once a year. Every Jew only brings it once, Bikurim. So because Bikurim Asidin Libatel, so to supplement for Bikurim that was brought once a year, we daven 3 times a day, every single day. Said,
So is it the rice of Bikurim?
Right? No, it's Takanas Moshe Rabbeinu. Takanas Moshe Rabbeinu makes is also only a Drabanan. As big as he was, his own Takanas a Drabanan also. Right? As I said, we have to daven 3 times a day, every single day, because once a year we don't bring Bikurim. Right? Another thing is that we have the Tochacha in this week's parsha, and this is already a takana of Ezra Beis Dino. It's brought down in Chazal. The Gemara Megillah says that Ezra, even back in the days when we used to only lay and finish the parsha of Torah once every 3 years, that's the ancient minhag. That they used to, the parshas were shorter. They used to finish the laning once every 3 years. Even back then, so as a maftir, they would read the Tochacha of Mishnah Torah, which is this week's Tochacha, before Rosh Hashanah, and the Tochacha of Parshas Bechukosai, right, before Shavuos, like we do. So now, since we finish it once a year, so we work it out anyway, that the Parshas HaShavua comes out, respectively, Kisol before Rosh Hashanah, Bechukosai before Shavuos. Problem is like this, it doesn't work out exact. And the Rambam already mentions the problem in his Hilchos Tefillah, where he gives a Seder of laning, says now that, even though we're supposed to do it before Rosh Hashanah, right, it doesn't work out exactly. Parshas Nitzavim is always in between. But the idea behind reading the Tochacha right before Rosh Hashanah is, as the Chazal say, Tichle Shana v'kloloseha, Tachel Shana v'berchoseha. It's supposed to symbolize the idea the old year goes out with its curses, the new year starts with all its blessings. So aside from the fact that seemingly it doesn't work out because there's always a week gap in between, it doesn't work out, don't read exactly right before Rosh Hashanah, that's one question to clarify, but there's also just understanding the idea itself. What does this piece of poetry mean? The old year goes out with all its curses and the new year comes in with all its blessings. Look, it's like this. You're not getting any younger. You're only getting older. You call the new year. Why do you call the new year? Anyone get younger? Right? We don't want to have like one infinitely long year, so we have to break it up. 5775, 5776, 5777, right? So we don't have, but what's new about the new year? Everything's older. Why is it called the new year? It's called Tachel Shana Berchoseh. What's new? Everything's just older. Right? We call it, started it another year. The truth is like this. The thing is like this. The notion of time, so as we know time as being the biggest ganav that there is, robs you of your youth and robs you of whatever you have because nothing lasts forever. So the passage of time takes away your lifespan and your health and your wealth, and nothing stays the same. By the way, that's what the Goyin in his Pirush on Siddur says. That's why the bracha of Parnasa is Mevarech Hashanim, bless the years. So the Goyin asks, why? That's the Lashon. Say, Baruch Hashem, give us Parnasa. Mevarech Hashanim. So it says the Goyin like this, Shanim, Miloshin Shinui, nothing stays the same. The passage of time forces change. And what the Parnasa you have today, you're not going to have tomorrow. Right? We asked the Ribbon Shalom, look, I know what I have today is not going to last forever. So things are going to change. The change should be blessed, since I have to get something new tomorrow anyway, because what I have today is not going to stick around. Right? Mevarech Hashem should be a shinui letova. The change should be for good, not for worse. There's change there'll be, but it should be a blessed change. My question is like this. Imagine if Adam Rishon, right, would have not sinned. Right? You know, Adam Rishon was created in the epitome of perfection. Right? He was created as an adult. He didn't have to grow up. Right? And if he wouldn't have eaten from the Eitz Hadas, he would have never gone old. He would have lived forever. Right? The way it'll be Bimherab Yaminu by Tchias HaMesim. Right? We'll get out of Kever as full-grown adults. There's just one difference. We'll just say this quickly. Parenthetically, Chazal say that we don't get out of the grave absolutely perfect. Omdim b'muman u'misrapin. Any wound or blemish you had in your lifetime, you get out of the grave with, and then you heal. Why? Shelo yomru elu hemis v'acherim hechya, that the people who died are one people, and this is a clone. It's not the original person. So to show that's the original person, right? So any identification, like distinct wound or blemish, you have to get out of the grave with it, so you know it's exactly the same person. That's why people, posit, and wonder whether cloning could be called Tchias HaMesim. This Gemara is saying absolutely not. A clone would not have the wounds, that you got from this accident or that accident, right? It's to show that according to Tchias HaMesim, Akash Baruch Hu brought back every single particle that was you originally, not a duplicate that thinks he's the original, right? But otherwise, when you get out of the grave as a full adult, you don't need to grow up. You just need to get healed from these identifying blemishes that you have, right? It doesn't last forever. No growing up is necessary. There's no growing old. So what's time all about? What significance does it mean that a year passes and then another year passes? And if you don't have to grow up and if you're never going to deteriorate, what's the significance of the passage of time? It sounds like it would be incredibly boring. Right? But it is like this. It says, "Vayu chayei Sora me'ashara sheva v'esrim shara sheshrim shnei chayei Sora." So everyone knows the Rashi right there, right? That 100 like 20 and 20 like 7. Right? But then the pasuk of shnei chayei Sora says, Rashi, kulam shavu l'tova. They're all equally good. Now that sounds nice, right? But if I would be sorry, I'd be deeply offended. Right? How can you say she was born a little pagan girl, just like Avraham Avinu? And then she eventually steiged and she became a Neviah. Even a bigger Neviah on a certain level, even bigger than Avraham Avinu, called Sarai Shema Bekola. Sarah Shema Bekola. Right. What, she didn't steig? Say, all the years were equally good. How can you say that? What, didn't make progress? Right, that's, so what's it mean? What do these words mean? Kulam shavu l'taiva. Right. The idea is like this, that we have the wrong notion of time. Right? It's like we said before, just 2 minutes ago, we view time as the biggest ganav in the world. It just robs you of what you have. Like nothing stays the same. With the passage of time, whatever you have today, you gradually is being taken away from you with the passage of time. Is that the way you have to look at time? In a perfect world where nothing deteriorates and nothing gets lost, right? A new day would be just to add new goodness that there wasn't yesterday. All right, we have a halacha in Talmud Torah. B'chol yom yu beinecha kechadoshim. Right, every day you have to look at what you're learning today as if it's new. You never saw it before. Even though you're supposed to chazer and chazer and chazer, you have to look at it new today as if you never saw it before. What is that halacha? Self-deception. I'm supposed to con myself into thinking I never saw this before? Answer is, no. B'chol yom, every day. There's new energies that there never were. HaKadosh Hu never gave us those energies ever before. And those new energies of HaMacharish Betuvo, B'chol Yom Tov, HaKadosh Hu makes new every day the world. With those new energies that came into the world just now, never was here before, you can understand Torah differently like you never understood it before. You just got to take advantage. Right? If a person is living life to his fullest and always pushing himself to the max, right? It could be he'll be bigger tomorrow than he is today, but it's not because today he goofed off and that's why he's going to be bigger tomorrow. Today he was all he can be. He wasn't bigger because there weren't new opportunities yet. That's what it means. Kulam shavuot. Of course, Sarah Imenu shtayt. As she got older, she got better. Right? It would be a terrible thing to say that she's the same now like the way she was born. Right? Of course she got better as she got older. But it was never that, sometimes we say you grew, but you could have been this big last year also if you weren't goofing off. You could have been as big as you are today even 10 years ago if you had your act together. Right? But then there are people who do whatever they can, the most that they can at any given moment. And of course they're bigger tomorrow than they were yesterday, because tomorrow brings in new energies and new opportunities that didn't exist yesterday. And that's what it means, kulam shavuto. She was always living the life to the maximum. She was always as big as she could possibly be. And of course she got bigger with every passing day, because every new day brings new energies in the world, new opportunities. New spiritual energies come into the world, just like new physical energies come into the world. And you could get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and have new Havanas in Torah with today's energies that you couldn't have yesterday, because these energies weren't in the world yet. And that's what it'll be, Lasid Lavo. Right? When we'll live forever by Trias HaMesim, it's not going to get boring. Because every passing day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give us new energies. We'll have new Havanas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu we didn't have the day before. So it'll be everlasting. It'll always be forever new. And it be'etzim is that way. The problem is that's if you live on a spiritual type of life, you could feel this, and you could have this, like in Talmud Torah, which is spiritual. The problem is that in Gashmias it's not that way. Because from the perspective of matter just dissolves over time. The flesh dissolves. If you live a life of matter, material, flesh, then from that perspective, an earthly perspective, time just robs you of what you have. If you live on a spiritual wavelength and by a spiritual pace, every new day brings new divine energies you didn't have the day before. New opportunities. New opportunities which you could also take material benefit from, but first and foremost, spiritual benefit from. And have new Havanas in Torah, new closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu you couldn't have yesterday because those energies weren't here yet. And the way to get the Eitzah that we had back Bizman Beis HaMikdash Hayakayim, right, to get out of living life at the pace of the flesh, at the pace of the material, that from a material, physical point of view, time is a big robber. It just robs you of what you have, right? With time passing, right? The Eitzah to get out of that box and to live on a spiritual pace was Bikurim. You take your first fruit, give it back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If it stays by HaKadosh Hu, keep it spiritual, give it back to HaKadosh Hu. If you eat out of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hands, it never gets old. It's where you take it for yourself within the realm of the physical, and you bring it down to the physical level. From a physical point of view, it just depletes. Right? If you keep it spiritual, keep it by the Rebbe Shem, give it back to the Rebbe Shem, put the rachis by him, you're going to be living a life of perpetual newness. And the only way to supplement for not having Bikurim anymore is to daven 3 times a day. Why do you have to daven 3 times a day? Why do you have to daven every single day? Why can't we just daven on Rosh Hashanah? The Rebbe Shem give us parnasa for the year. Let's daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu just once a year. Don't get any ideas, right? 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 Why do you have to daven 3 times a day to supplement for Bikurim? Because just like you eat 3 times a day, you're always eating out of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hands. You're always eating, you're always keeping things connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, keeping it above the flesh, and that way there's bracha in it constantly. Right? Keeping things spiritual is to also see in it, the Kedusha side of it, and Kedusha never gets old. Kedusha only gets newer and newer and newer. Like new day, like new year. And that's what it means. Right? That all the Yisurim and that all these things that Klola, right, all curses, which these things inevitably happen with the passage of time. Everything gets old, everything depletes, everything wears out, right? When we understand that that's all klola, that's all a curse. It was not meant to be that way. It's all klolos. It's tochacha. It's all klolos, and it's because of our sins. But life was never meant to be that way, and that's the message that we get from the tocha. That we change direction, realize the way life is not the way it really was meant to be. Unwish was never meant to eat from that piece of fruit, and life was never meant to be this way. Right? It's all clothes, it's a curse, and our life is better, so to speak, perpetually new. When we have the message of the tochacha, we change direction. We don't view life as wearing out. There's mitzad life wearing out. Wearing out is for the curses. Let the bad go out with itself. The concept of wearing out is just for the bad itself, that the bad should wear out. But the good is perpetually new. And that's the message we get from the tochacha when we wake up and realize our perception of life is all wrong. Then with that new perspective, we're not waiting for the year to end. We're looking for the year to come and to be Mamlech HaKadosh and bring our new Shefa Bracha when we come to the realization right? That life as we view it is just a curse and it was never meant to be that way. That's how we break out of the box and we live a life of perpetual newness.